Hello, everybody, and a huge welcome to our 2025 Trends webinar. My first webinar of the year. I'm very excited. We're just going to give it a couple of minutes for people to dial in, and then we will get started. But while we wait, I've got a great little icebreaker for our speakers. They found out about this approximately 2 minutes ago, so very much putting them on the spot. But I would love to hear from each of you one word that you would like people to use to describe you by the end of 2025. I will give you mine first as a bit of inspiration. My word for 2025 is optimistic. I want to be one of those people that just brings positive energy all the time. So that's my 2025 word. How about all of you? Anybody got one to go first?
I can go first. My birthday is actually on New Year's Eve, so I went into the new year with a couple words that I wanted to focus on, but intentional is my word for 2025.
Intentional, I love that. Good one. Really good. Anyone else?
Yeah, happy to go next. The word I chose was resilient. So I think basically 2025, hopefully will be a very good year, but I think with whatever challenges that come my way, I'm hoping that I can kind of overcome them. And I think by the end of the year, I want to be in a place where I feel like no matter what happened throughout the year, I kind of got the job done at the end of the day. So I went with resilient.
I really like that one.
I'll hop in and kind of have a similar tone. I think the word that I'd like to kind of be my 2025 word is grounded. I think, working at a startup in the tech space and having 2 kids and all these things, it's very easy to get kind of tossed to and fro. I'd like to finish out the year in 2025, like very grounded, resilient, and having like approached things, with grace and not gotten tossed around too much, but really came out on the other side. Having built better things.
These are good goals. I like them. And last but not least.
Yeah, I had a couple in mind. My immediate mind went to just saying married, because I'm getting married this year. So that was the first one. So that in August. But I think enthusiastic, approaching all the challenges. 2025 started off pretty quick. So making sure you're enthusiastic and, like you said, positive into the year ahead as well. So that's my one.
I love it.
Max and I are going into battle and everybody else is going resilient, grounded.
I know, I love it. Between us, we've got a really good mix, and I will be checking in with you at the end of the year to see how that has gone. Fantastic. Thank you, guys. Very good sports. That has killed some time beautifully, and we've now got lots of lovely people online. So we're going to get going with our 2025 Trends webinar. So welcome, everybody. This is actually one of my favorite campaigns that we run here at LoyaltyLion every year, because it just feels like such a positive way to end January, the month that seems to go on for 200 plus days somehow. But before we get stuck into hearing the trends that our experts think are going to be big this year, we're going to cover off the housekeeping. So firstly, yes, this session is being recorded, so you can revisit it in your own time, or you can share it with colleagues afterwards. And secondly, yes, we are taking questions. Just drop them into the chat or use the Q&A function, and we will address them all once we're through the trends, or we'll follow up afterwards. So finally, we've had a quick teaser, but let's meet our experts for real. I'm Jane Stevens, Director of Marketing here at LoyaltyLion. Probably should have led with that. And now I'm going to whiz around the group and get each of you to tell us who you are and which tech platform you represent here today. So Liam, I'm going to come to you first.
Yeah, hi everyone. So my name's Liam. I'm a Senior Client Strategy Manager here at Attentive. And I'm essentially here to go and help guide businesses through their optimizations through both email and SMS.
Fantastic. Krista, over to you.
I'm Krista. I'm a Senior Partner Manager at ShipBob. So we help brands fulfill all types of orders to get them to their end customer.
Fantastic. Max?
Hi, I'm Max. I'm in charge of growth here at VenApps, and we build and manage high-performing mobile apps for leading merchants on Shopify.
Fantastic. And Chris, over to you.
I am Chris. I'm the head of marketing here at Treat, and we're a branded resale platform helping brands take on resale.
Fantastic. It is great to meet you all. Thanks for being here today. Really excited to hear your trends, I have to say. So without further ado, let's get stuck into the 2025 trends that we think are going to be super important for Shopify stores this year. Now, I'm going to start us off with LoyaltyLion's trend, which is why integrated loyalty is a Shopify essential this year. To set the scene, I'm going to actually ask you to cast your mind back to around 10 years ago when fashion looked a little bit like this. Back then, only 30 to 40% of e-commerce brands had loyalty programs. If we fast forward to 2025, not only does the fashion look extremely different, but so does the loyalty landscape. So according to a survey that we ran at the back end of last year, 60% of Shopify stores actually already have loyalty programs in place. But it's not just that 60% that are evolving. Of those who don't have a program, 44% are already working on implementing one, and 48% plan to implement one in 2025. So that just leaves 6% of Shopify stores who are not thinking about loyalty in any way, shape, or form at the moment. If that's not enough to give you FOMO, then I'm not sure what is. If we can jump to the next slide. It's not just brands and businesses who are changing their perspective on loyalty. Consumers are doing things differently now too. Looking back into the past again, it probably wouldn't surprise you to know that historically, only 50% of loyalty rewards were actually being redeemed. But if we fast forward again to 2025, we can see that today, 73% of customers actually actively seek to redeem rewards when they make purchases. A further 66% of consumers say that the ability to earn and use rewards directly influences who they choose to shop with. This is really great news because we know that redeeming loyalty program members drive higher purchase frequency, larger order sizes, and greater customer lifetime value. So if we jump to the next slide, there is a big opportunity here to capitalize on the collision of these two trends in 2025. If we invest more in rewarding the customers who are looking to engage with loyalty programs, ensure they're actually redeeming the rewards that you're offering by really integrating your program into the shopping experience, you can watch your returning customer rates and your ROI go up. So how do you actually make sure your program is integrated so that it gets that maximum engagement? There's a couple of key principles to follow that I want to look at so that you can really make the most of this trend. If we jump to the next slide, great. So first of all, great loyalty integration starts with a really great integrated loyalty page. I've got one of my favorite examples on screen here. It's from Never Fully Dressed. So this is one of my favorites for a few reasons. First of all, so easy to get to and access. It's linked directly in the top navigation. So as a loyalty program member, I can always find it. Secondly, it is totally on brand, not just in terms of the look and feel, but even down to the explainer video that they're featuring at the top of the page. I never feel like I've strayed into a different part of the site or the user experience. It's incredibly consistent. Most importantly, though, this page makes it really obvious how you can earn points, what additional benefits you can unlock as you move through their loyalty tiers, and most importantly, how you can redeem the rewards that you've earned by collecting those points. Best part, once I'm logged in, I can really quickly and easily see how many points I've earned, what loyalty tier I'm in, and what rewards I've got available. This just makes it so much more likely that I will redeem those rewards. And this is why members of the Loyalty Love Rewards program from Never Fully Dressed have actually completed almost 300,000 activities from the loyalty program in a 12-month period. So this is a relatively sophisticated loyalty page example, but the good news is that you can now achieve a much simpler full loyalty page integrated really easily using the loyalty components in Shopify's customer accounts, the new functionality that they launched at the end of last year as well. Moving on to integrated loyalty data. So we know that consumers want a personalized experience, and loyalty data really allows you to provide that. I know personalization is going to be a bit of a theme that comes up today, but with loyalty data, you can really tailor your emails, your SMS, your push notifications with those unique data points, things like points balances, available rewards, tier updates. But you can also use that data to segment your customers and provide really tailored special offers as well. One brand that we see doing this super well is a fashion brand named Pepper. Not only do they ensure that their loyalty program is included in every message that they send to increase that engagement, but the team at Pepper also do a fantastic job of segmenting their loyalty program members so that every email they send is more effective and drives that much higher reward redemption. They also then use those loyalty segments to run exclusive email promotions for different groups of loyalty program members. I think as a result, they delivered over $45,000 from loyalty emails within a really short time frame. So you can find out more about that example and other brands that are using integrated loyalty data really well in our Hall of Fame over on LoyaltyLion.com. Last but not least, one of the most important points of integrating your loyalty program is increasing reward redemption by making sure that people can access loyalty within the checkout. With the improved checkout extensibility tools that were released in 2024, it is now easier than ever to integrate your loyalty program into your checkout. So as you can see here, you can now drag and drop loyalty components, things like redeem points at checkout, straight into your checkout without needing any code. And that means that loyalty program members can now see how many points they have available and apply those points for a reward as they're checking out. No copying and pasting, no going here to there, different journeys. It's all available in one place. It's super quick to set up, but it also really increases the exposure of your loyalty program and, most importantly, the redemption of rewards. So to summarize from me, don't get left behind in 2025. Don't be one of the 6% of Shopify stores not looking at loyalty. Instead, invest in making your loyalty program really integrated so that your customers are more engaged, they're redeeming their rewards, and they return to purchase from you more frequently. That is enough from me. So I'm going to hand over to Liam at Attentive for our next trend. Before I do, just a super quick reminder that we'll be taking questions at the end. So do drop anything you'd like to ask him in the chat. Liam, over to you.
Thanks so much, Fiona. Yes, so as Fiona said, I'm Liam. I'm a senior customer success manager here at Attentive, and I'm really excited to actually speak to you today about a really exciting shift that we're seeing in e-commerce overall, and that's AI-powered driven personalization. Excuse me. So before we dive in, though, let me quickly tell you a little bit about Attentive. We're the platform behind some of the largest transformation we've seen in brands and how they connect with their customers. So we work with leading brands such as Marks and Spencer's, L'Oreal, Zara to create smarter and more personalized customer experiences. And that's not just in SMS, but email as well. So what we really want to do, and I think this will lead nicely on as well in terms of the AI-driven personalization, is sending that right message at the right time. And that means whether it's through SMS or email, what our aim is here is to turn some of those casual shoppers that you have into real loyal fans that you're going to regularly have repeat purchases from. And ultimately, the results that we've got here as well really speak for themselves. So during Cyber Week 2024, we worked with brands like Crate and Barrel, UGG, Hoka, Brooks Brothers, and we saw an 86% increase in year-on-year revenue growth, actually just from our AI-powered tools using Attentive. So some really great growth that we can see here. So I think the bit that you're actually waiting for, though, is around the rise of AI personalization itself. So in 2025, we've seen data-driven AI personalization actually transform e-commerce. So it's not any longer about just selling products. It's about creating experiences with your customer base. And we want them to feel truly seen and valued. So the way in which we're going to actually do that is to dive deeper into customer data. So that means looking at things such as purchase history, browsing data, preferences, all of that happening in real time, and then use that data to create some really tailored experiences. And the key is when we're sending those messages, we're resonating with every individual that we're sending them to. So why does it matter? Well, as you can see on the left-hand side there, 62% of consumers say they'd switch to a competitor who offers a more personalized experience. And we've got third-party cookies, as you'll all be aware, being more difficult to track. So personalization isn't just a nice to have, it really is an essential for staying competitive in the world of e-commerce. And one final point on this slide as well, as you can see, 80% of CMOs plan to use AI to personalize messaging. So a bit like Fiona said as well, we don't want to be falling behind. We want to be taking advantage of those new tools to the market themselves. Go to the next slide, please. I think, yes, perfect. So what is the actual value of AI there? So it's really twofold. So for brands, we're thinking about things like higher conversion rates, stronger loyalty, and thinking about better ROI overall. But when we think about customers, when we put ourselves in their shoes, what we really want is a smoother, more enjoyable experience. So we're having interactions that are much more relevant and special to you as an individual. So how do you do that with AI? Well, you want to essentially have functionality that enables us to have one-on-one personal experiences, moving away from those one-to-many personal experiences. So if we could go to the next slide there, please. Thank you. Perfect. So one of the key ways in which we've done this is represented by Represent. So they actually switched to us in August 2023, and they had a couple of simple aims. One was to enhance their personalization strategy. So that's about connecting with their audience and improving customer engagement. And another as well was to start you leveraging additional tools that Attentive had as well. So what we worked out is ensuring time-sensitive messages, such as those like product drops, reaching their customers really quickly, and then tailoring them later on to create meaningful experiences will have a really great impact on some of those options that we mentioned earlier, like ROI, engagement, click-through rates, etc. So how do we achieve these great results you can see on the slide here? Well, we used Attentive's AI Pro tools. So we enabled them to enrich customer profiles, refine their subscriber lists, but also to look at optimal delivery times as well. And that's for each individual subscriber rather than an overall group themselves. So what we had to do is actually leverage the AI tools that we have to get some insights on sign-up data, past interactions themselves, and then leverage that to improve the ability to target the most high-value customers. And again, with our aim here really to make sure that while we're generating additional revenue, we're also having a great customer experience and driving additional ROI here as well. So what they were able to do during that time is identify likely buyers with excluding the less likely buyers and ensuring that those campaigns, so the single shot messages they were sending, reached the most relevant audiences that they possibly could, and sending those at exactly the right optimal time. So this combination that we're talking about here of timing and segmentation made sure that we actually had a really powerful and data-driven approach to SMS, and the results were pretty transformative, as you can see. So a 23% uplift in revenue, with 34% of that increase attributed to Audiences AI, which is one of our tools here in our AI Pro suite, and 12% to Identity AI as well, another within the AI Pro suite itself. So when we look at this holistically, though, at all the brands that we work with, we actually see a 124% increase in revenue when actually leveraging AI within their campaigns themselves. So you'll be thinking to yourself, okay, so what exactly is Attentive AI? So it's our suite of tools that are designed to maximize performance of SMS and email marketing campaigns. And we have a whole array of AI-driven personalization tools that is all about turning the data that you have and that you're collecting within your brands and giving you the ability to connect with customers in a way that's much more tailored, it's meaningful, and it's really, really engaging. It's actually essential because what we've built is purpose-built for you guys as marketers. You don't need a data science degree, and I can attest to that myself, to use it effectively. We're trying to get rid of all that guesswork that you typically have to do within marketing. We're trying to use AI to handle really complex tasks. So that's everything from your segmentation, your timing, your message personalization, all can be handled by the AI Pro tools that we have here as well. And it's designed to make marketing faster, smarter, and more impactful. And we want to go and give your teams more time and resources available to them to achieve their roles. So finally, it's important because we're going to solve marketing challenges. We know that third-party cookies are phasing out. We know first-party data is becoming more critical than ever. We know that brands struggle to fully activate data for things like personalization itself. So what we want to do here is bridge the gap, make sure you've got those one-on-one experiences at scale, and then drive real tangible results. So it's not about promising improvement. We do have measurable outcomes from this already. And so we've seen 31% growth for brands like Little Sleepies, 7% increase in revenue for brands like Swim Outlet, all through using dynamic AI journeys, and a 45% increase for conversions for Hot Topic as well. And that's all about blending personalization with brand voice. So with all of this, we're really improving efficiency and ROI and helping with things such as content creation and saving valuable time and resources, like I mentioned. So one of the crazy stats that we saw from one of our customers, Jackson, they saw a 249% increase in ROI just by using AI tools to optimize their campaigns. So some pretty incredible results. And I think that all links into as well what consumers expect from us, which is highly personalized experiences. So that's enabling you as brands to meet the expectations of those consumers by analyzing the huge data sets that we have in real time and then resonating with each customer's preferences and behaviors. If you go to the next slide there, please, as well, I think. Perfect. So as we've sort of, I think I've missed a couple, so you might want to go one more through as well, if that's all right. Thank you so much. Perfect. Brilliant. You'll stay there. Fantastic. So ultimately, what we're planning to do here with Attentive AI is empower brands to build deeper relationships. So that's about understanding preferences, create really highly engaging, relevant messages that are really personable, and then drive growth. And that's through things like improved conversion rates, customer loyalty, and then ROI as well. So we know AI is really trendy at the moment, but it's more about making your marketing significantly more smarter, efficient, and more impactful as well. So if you're not leveraging it in your strategy yet, I think now is the time to start. And you'll have tools like Attentive AI Pro. You can stay ahead of that curve itself as well. So the aim is deliver exceptional customer experiences and incredible results, like some of the ones you can see on the screen on the left-hand side. So don't hesitate to scan the QR code on the screen if you want to get started. And yeah, if there's any questions or anything at all, I'll be really happy to answer them. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Liam. It wouldn't be a trends event, I think, without AI being mentioned, but it's nice to know that there are some slightly more accessible ways of using it now. I think a lot of us marketers have sat there scratching our heads for a while going, yeah, we know we need to do it, but how? So it's great to see actually some really tangible ways of doing that. I love the represent example as well. I think we're going to see them coming up a few times in this presentation. Max, I'm going to hand over to you next.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And thanks a lot, Liam, for that really interesting look into AI-powered personalization. I think there's probably a lot of crossover that could come into what I'm going to be talking about, which is push notifications and smart segmentation with push notifications. Just to quickly introduce myself, I'm Max, in charge of growth here at VenApps. For those of you on the call who perhaps aren't familiar with us, we build and manage high-performing mobile apps for leading Shopify merchants, ensuring not only do they have apps that look and feel great, but also providing strategic advice on how to make them a success. Just a few of the brands we work with include Represent, who, as Fiona mentioned, I think will come out quite a bit in this call, Cole Buxton, Anita Bing, Motel Rocks, and many others. A quick overview of what we'll be talking about today. So as I already mentioned, push notifications and why they're essential for brands in 2025. Then we'll look a little bit more into Represent and the sorts of strategies that they've been using and we developed in tandem with them. And then we'll look at the impact of those strategies. And then a little bit going beyond push notifications, we'll look at Represent's mobile app as a whole and how it's driving some really exciting results for them. Next slide, please. Thanks. Yeah, so looking at why push notifications should be a part of your brand's marketing mix in 2025, I think probably one of the reasons why we're all on this call today is that retention is really more important than ever for sustainable growth. Acquisition costs continue to rise. Some stats put meta ads as being as much as 80% more expensive than they were 4 years ago. So not only are your acquisition costs going up, but to re-engage your churn customers through paid advertising to become more expensive as well. So we have all these amazing tools to keep our customers around. Loyalty programs, SMS and email all work really well. But a lot of brands are bringing these to the table, and to really have something that will help differentiate your brand and to open up a whole new channel and a whole new way to retain your best customers, push notifications are an incredibly effective tool. And why are they so powerful? When we look at the data, we can see that the click-through rates compared to email are between 7 and 10 times as high. And that's for a couple of reasons, really. One of the reasons is that they are a direct line to your most valuable customers. So to a certain extent, the customers that download your app and use your app, they want to hear from you, but also they're a very frictionless experience. So rather than having to go through into an email, into a text, and then through to another link, you can be taken directly to a page within the app. And with the power of deep linking, you can be very specific in where you want to take a certain customer. Additionally, they are entirely free to send with the Event Apps platform. So that's another perk, keeping your costs down. And when we look at smart segmentation, which is really the focus of today, and how you can segment push notifications, we see the effectiveness of that segmentation on increasing conversion and ultimately retention and customer lifetime value. So yeah, we'll now look at why smart segmentation is so important and some of the stats around that. If we go to the next slide, thank you. So yeah, with smart segmentation, there are really multiple use cases. So we can segment out. If we look at this table on the right, you can see the different purposes for sending segmented push notifications within the e-commerce industry. And there are a number of interesting use cases. One of the most obvious ones is new offers and product drops. But we also have sharing of time-sensitive offers with different groups of users. And that's another exciting use case. And we'll see shortly how Represent are using this strategy with their drops. Then you have segmentation by in-app events. So we can create cohorts of users that have interacted with certain products or pages within the app, and then we can re-engage them accordingly. Perhaps the most obvious example of this is an abandoned cart notification. So when a specific user or customer drops off in the purchase flow, we can re-engage them with a push notification automatically. And that's a very effective way of ensuring customers come back. And when we look at the data, we can see that smart segmentation across the board roughly increases conversion rates by about 65% versus a typical broadcast notification. So that would be one that you send to your entire customer base versus one that you send to a specific cohort of users. And for long-term retention, they're really, really effective as well. So that would be customers coming back for 11 plus sessions in the app. It's about twice as high when using smart segmentation versus typical broadcast notifications. So we can see that segmentation is very effective compared to broadcast pushes. And I think to illustrate this, we've chosen Represent and looking at some of the strategies that we help develop with them. So if we go to the next slide, we can go into that in a little bit more detail. Yeah, so Represent strategy really help them deliver this key headline stat here, which is a 97% uplift in conversions via broadcast notifications. So we'll look a little bit into how they actually achieve this. We worked with them to devise an approach of segmenting pushes by loyalty tier for exclusive early access to new clothing drops. And this strategy really taps into three things from a customer perspective. And that's exclusivity, personalization, and then a sense of urgency as well. So what's really cool with Represent is that they created exclusivity by actually locking both their mobile app and their mobile website. So something that we offer is we can help customers. We have a feature which helps customers lock their app as well as their website. And then they gave customers the heads up that for exclusive access or early access to the clothing drop, they would have to use the mobile app. So that drives downloads to the mobile app. And then from there, Represent were able to segment out their push notifications. So as you can see here, Represent use LoyaltyLion for their loyalty solution, and you have tiers ranging from a bronze tier all the way up to a VIP tier. And essentially what Represent did is that they staggered access to the app by segmenting out each loyalty tier and then accordingly sending these push notifications, starting with the most valuable tier, which is the VIP tier, giving them first access to the drops through the app with a unique password. And then they subsequently sent out these notifications every half an hour until they sent out a broadcast notification to the entire customer base, notifying them that the app was now unlocked. So this personalized approach is really effective. Each loyalty tier and each customer within that loyalty tier feels like they're being spoken to directly. And by staggering out the notifications and sending them within a specific time period, Represent are able to create a sense of urgency and drive immediate action. So with this drop, Represent and Oasis was a very sought after clothing drop, and by giving early access to the most loyal customers, it adds something additional, gives them a sense of, again, exclusivity, and makes them feel like they have priority to purchase these items. And it was a really effective way of driving conversions for Represent. So when we look a little bit more on the next slide at the impact of the data, we can see that there was a 97% uplift in conversions via broadcast notifications, as I've already mentioned. But more than that, we can see that Represent's app revenue is very, very much linked to push notifications and the sending of push notifications. A third of their app revenue can be attributed to these segmented pushes, which is a really remarkable stat. And beyond that, the app achieves a 46% higher repeat purchase frequency than their web store. And the key point here really being that this is a sustainable growth method for Represent, and it reduces their spend on re-engaging their customers. So they funnel their most loyal customers onto the app, and then they can effectively re-engage them. And we see that the repeat purchase frequency is 46% higher. And this segmentation strategy really is a key driver of that. And again, with the rise of acquisition costs and the cost of re-engagement, it's very important to find sustainable ways to re-engage those customers, and push notifications being an entirely free channel is exactly that for Represent. And if we look a little bit more beyond just push notifications onto the next slide, we can look at Represent's wider app as a whole. Yeah, thank you. So looking at their app beyond just pushes, we can see that they have a 16% higher average order value on their app. So in part, this will be down to Represent's best customers shopping on their app, which we will know is one of the drivers of this stat. But at the same time, Represent benefit from seamless browsing experience that's afforded by a native app. And additionally to that, we have a variety of curated discovery features that we can support within our apps. And the example I've chosen here is our Shop the Look feature. So this is a really cool feature where customers can browse through curated lookbooks, and then they can purchase right there and then what they see in the images. And when we look at the data for this feature, we see that the conversion uplift versus other pages on Represent's app is really high. And this is just an example of how a mobile app can power curation and how the AOV and the average order value for a mobile app can be higher using these kinds of features. And so when I look at this customer lifetime value stat, that's really a combination of the higher AOV and that repeat purchase frequency that I highlighted on the previous slide. So for Represent, they have a 70% higher customer lifetime value on their mobile app, which is a really, really important figure for them. And I suppose any brand in 2025 who is looking to grow sustainably, they'll want to be able to retain their best customers. And a mobile app is a really effective way to do that. And yeah, with acquisition costs continuing to go up, it's more and more important to keep your existing customers and be able to convert them effectively. And fundamentally, that is what an app will help brands do. So yeah, don't let your brand miss out in 2025. If you're considering a mobile app, please feel free to get in touch with us through our website or LinkedIn. And if you have any more questions or you want to reach out to me personally, feel free to add me on LinkedIn again, Max Hatter. So I'll be able to answer any additional questions you might have. But thanks so much for taking the time to listen today. And I hope you enjoyed the rest of the webinar. Have a great evening. Thanks, guys.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Max. I think it's represents such a great use case for this because they have such exclusive experiences for their loyalty program members. You know, the push notifications they can send will just be, you know, these new unique drops. They're doing so much omni-channel now. It could be, hey, come check out our store. That there's so much content. But I think that doesn't mean that other brands can't also use those push notifications. I think it's really interesting to see the numbers that you shared, the engagement. It's very interesting to see how it compares to text and email going forwards as well. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Krista, over to you.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Again, I'm Krista. I'm a senior partner manager here at ShipBob. I'm excited to be here. Go ahead to the next slide. Before we dive in, for those unfamiliar with ShipBob, we help brands fulfill their orders across all sales channels. So we work with businesses of all sizes, providing them access to best-in-class supply chain capabilities. We're trusted by over 7,000 brands to build a scalable and affordable fulfillment solution. A couple ways we stand out: we offer exceptional carrier costs, so we work with all major carriers and negotiate rates with them constantly, pass those on to our customers. We are a global warehouse solution, so we have capabilities to help you scale around the world. Omni-channel fulfillment, so you can manage B2B and D2C fulfillment under one dashboard, and also customization at scale, so being able to create an unforgettable branded experience for your customers to keep them coming back. You can go ahead to the next slide here. Awesome. I just wanted to touch on some of our performance over Black Friday, Cyber Monday to give a little bit of insight on how that went fulfillment wise. So we shipped over 2.6 million orders over Cyber Week. So we never stopped processing B2B. So we were growing our B2B volume. It ended up being a 630% year-over-year growth over the 5 Cyber days. We also launched ShipBob Logistics, which is our own sorting process. And this year, 64% of all of our volume went through our own sorting center network. And this enables 24-hour package sortation. So about 26% of our packages were picked up by carriers between 8 p.m. and 2 a.m. That way we were able to ensure delivery on time. And our package sortation helped reduce a 12% reduction in total delivery time for our customers. Lastly, we know how important it is for product to be as close to the end consumer as possible by spreading inventory. So for those merchants that utilized our inventory placement program, which stores inventory closer to their customers, we delivered a 17% shorter zones for those merchants utilizing that program. And despite the talk of a slowdown of growth in 2024, brands still scaled and continue to implement strategies for growth in 2025. We surveyed our merchants and found that 80% of brands saw an increase in revenue from 2023 to 2024. 63% will add at least one new sales channel this coming year in order to meet their customers in different places that they're shopping. 36% of brands plan to ship or fulfill orders in new countries this year to increase their total addressable market. So in the next few slides, we'll talk about how you can adjust your fulfillment strategy to keep up with these different growth trends. So nowadays, everyone expects fast and affordable delivery, but as a brand, how do you make sure you can provide next day or 2-day shipping without breaking the bank? It's all going to start with your inventory and getting that closer to your customers by implementing a distributed inventory model. So I have 2 maps here. If you take a look at both of them, the first one shows you an example of where one warehouse is in Southern California, and the second shows 3 warehouses spread out over the US. In the first map, you can imagine how it would either take a long time to ship an order to the East Coast, or it would be expensive to get it to them quickly and meet that 2-day shipping expectation. Both of these situations resulting in an unhappy customer. Again, either it's going to take a long time or cost a lot. And so in the second map, you see the 3 warehouses. You can notice that they're really only shipping in zones 1 through 5, as opposed to all 9 shipping zones in the first map. And this allows you to not only deliver orders quicker, but for a reasonable rate because the packages are not traveling super long distances. So of course, there are a ton of benefits to distributing your inventory. You're able to improve inventory availability. So it'll be really important to build a flexible supply chain this year, whether you're adapting to weather conditions or market conditions. You need to stay flexible so that your customers are never left wondering where their package is or when it will leave the warehouse. You'll be able to deliver on fast shipping expectations, 2-day shipping. Again, it's no longer just a nice to have, it's a baseline expectation and a really good way to stay above your competition. and then at the same time decreasing shipping costs. So products don't need to travel as far, and you don't need to pay more for expedited or air shipping if you have your inventory distributed closer to where your customers are located. Next slide here. Once your supply chain is streamlined, you can implement strategies that will reduce cart abandonment and increase average order value. I know some other people have touched on the reducing cart abandonment so far today, but some strategies that we've seen work with our customers, a free shipping banner. It's the most effective website banner to convert more shoppers, and is also really effective messaging across channels like email and social. You can also take it a step further to incentivize a minimum spend threshold that's higher than your average order value in exchange for free shipping. So free shipping on orders over $150. I'm sure you see that all the time. Another way you can kind of utilize that strategy is by promoting bundles or upsells to encourage shoppers to spend more for a better value. So I see this all the time on like Amazon. You reach $25 in your cart, you'll get same day delivery. Those sorts of strategies to increase average order value in order to unlock free shipping or quick shipping has helped our merchants a lot. Next slide here. Thank you. You also want to encourage retention in the last mile with custom experiences. So as you scale, it's challenging to maintain a consistent branded unboxing experience. And today, these unboxing experiences are really important. They kind of make you stand out from the competition and also just drive brand awareness. They also drive loyalty and retention because you're leaving the customer feeling satisfied with their order. And doing so in the physical world, bringing the good experience from online, you see the shipping promise and you want to continue that good experience in the physical world when the order does get delivered. So you can do things like insert custom gift notes. You can add loyalty focused inserts for, a coupon on their next purchase. We also just launched an update to our custom gift notes to help you take your branded unboxing experience to the next level. In the past, these were just standard white paper with text, and now you can fully customize the look, feel, colors, images, fonts, all of that to really align with your brand. And you can also do branded packaging, stickers, tissue paper, kitted or bundled products, as I just touched on, to drive that higher average order value, or custom subscription options. Really anything you can do to leave your customer feeling happy, satisfied with their order, and that they want to come back again and purchase more in the future. And this is my last tip here, building trust through transparency. So inaccurate delivery times and costs can jeopardize the customer relationship and create an unpleasant shopper experience. Once they place that order and then, the order is being picked and packed in the warehouse, and there's kind of that period that can cause distrust of, where's the order and what's going on with it. So we have integrations with tech leaders like Gorgeous, Attentive to help you manage customer expectations with clear delivery information and order updates, all powered by ShipBob fulfillment data. So with these different tools, you can get ahead of Wizmo questions, so you're able to troubleshoot customer tickets with deeper insights into those where is my order questions. You're able to provide clear, transparent communication so you can help set expectations and build trust with your customers. Even if your communication is letting them know that their order is delayed, it's better to let them know as soon as you do, in opposed to just, letting them wonder what's going on with their order. You can also automate order and inventory notifications. So you can set up rules to automatically let your customers know when their order has been received by the warehouse, when it's being picked and packed, when it's out for delivery. The opportunities are endless, and this just helps you stay proactive instead of reactive, and also saves you time responding to questions of like, where is my order? And lastly, helps you empower your customer service team. So enable your support team with real-time fulfillment data. This allows your team to take action on active orders when further action needs to be taken, like canceling orders or adding items. Overall, these tools help you stay proactive with your customer and doesn't allow them the chance to wonder what's going on with their order resulting in a satisfied customer and an overall good experience. You can go ahead to the next slide. Just want to wrap all of these tips and strategies up with a good example. So this is our customer Our Place. They're one of our customers who implemented some of these strategies in 2023 and 2024, which helped them save over 1.5 million and cut delivery times in half. So a couple of different things they did. They expanded their warehouse network. So originally they were just in 2 of our warehouses on each coast, and they grew to 4 across the nation. This has translated in the most cost savings, almost 2 million in freight cost savings, just by expanding their warehouse network. And because they did this, they got their products closer to their customers. So they cut shipping times in half and were able to leverage customization for branded packaging to deliver an elevated shopping experience for their customers. So they used a bunch of different strategies to not only allow for quicker shipping, but they also save costs at the same time just by distributing that inventory. And the last slide here, we just have a quick offer. So we have $1,000 in free shipping credits, 90% off implementation. And then my favorite one is the 3 months of branded truck wrap. So you can get your brand highlighted on one of our ShipBob trucks for 3 months. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'll throw my email in the chat, or you can go to shipbob.com/LoyaltyLion.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Krista. I love the idea of truck wrap. That is quite the thing.
It's a fun one.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Last but not least, over to Chris at Treat. I have to say I was very excited to find out that we had an integration with Treat in the works, and that is now live. So Chris, tell us more.
Yeah, awesome. So I'm Chris. I'm the head of marketing here at Treat. And for those of you that don't know, Treat powers branded resale for some of the leading e-commerce brands out there. We have brought more brands to branded resale than any other provider out there. And we really help them take control of their secondhand market, keep products out of landfill, and what I'm sure will make everybody here happy is really drive new and retained revenue. We have a stackable resale solutions that includes peer-to-peer marketplaces, take-back programs, returns, and things like that. We work with brands like Takova's, Girlfriend Collective, Portland Leather Goods, and Doen. So we've got a lot that we are doing out in the world, and I really think it's exciting, and I'm really thrilled to be a part of it and kind of break down branded resale for you guys and how we see that as a trend for 2025. So to kick things off here, I'll just give you a little bit of like a view of the ecosystem. Is right now I think the future of retail for us is that branded resale is no longer optional. We think it's table stakes. I think that you will kind of come to agreement on that. And the reality is there's a significant amount of market growth occurring right now. So the resale market is expected to grow to $350 billion by 2028. So that's faster than any other segment within the retail market. So 16 times faster. So there's a huge opportunity just in terms of market growth that's occurring, right? The second trend or second thing that's making this so important right now is that sustainability is really pivotal right now. I think everybody knows that there's a lot of conversations going on around product end of life, or how can brands be more green, and shoppers are actually starting to prioritize that, with 60% of consumers considering sustainability as part of their purchase decision. Then on top of that, there's legal compliance issues kind of on the forefront. So California just signed into law SB 707. There's regulations coming out in the EU as well. And really what these are going to do is require brands to be responsible for the end of life of their product, right? And then finally, you have this unlocking of circular commerce. So with resale, a single product purchase can lead to multiple interactions, both with a single customer as well as net new customers, right? So all these things combined really make it kind of paramount that you get into resale sooner rather than later. Like I said, I think it's table stakes, and I think that the reality is if one of these was what the market looked like, it would be great to get on resale. But the fact that all of these are what we're seeing, it kind of makes it an imperative. If we want to head to the next slide. So the trend that we're really seeing right now, or that we're looking at in 2025, is how resale can strengthen your brand and affinity, as well as build retention, right? So with resale, what we're seeing is higher repeat purchase rates. So customers who resell on your platform are more likely to shop again, stay engaged longer. They're coming back, they're reselling their product, they're buying new product, and really just staying within your ecosystem, having more touch points, right? And to kind of explain this a little better, branded resale is effectively eBay, but it's owned by your brand, right? I don't know if I mentioned that earlier, but I'll just kind of cover that here so you can kind of understand that. And so what we're also seeing and how this impacts retention is that we're seeing increased spending. So, and I never really say this well, so bear with me while I try to explain it. When somebody comes to sell through a Treat branded site, they have the option to either take in cash as their reward for resale, or they can take credit. What we are seeing is that I think it's something like 60% of the time they're choosing credit. And when they choose credit, they're spending on average 2.5 times more than their credit was. So the example being, if they sold the product on your site for $100, that was their credit amount. They come back and they spend $250 on the brand. So you're making more, you're retaining that customer, you're actually making more profit off of them through that sale. So we're seeing this kind of loyalty and lifetime value increase through higher retention rates and these stronger customer relationships. And then finally, on top of this, we see that it really expands your audience. So I think there's always this idea that there might be cannibalization of new purchases, but the reality is you're actually attracting cost-conscious shoppers and giving them an accessible entry point into the brand. So what we see is that 40% of resale customers are net new to the brand. So you're not, it turns into an acquisition channel as well. And there's a lot of brands that are doing this really well. If we want to go to the next slide. I will jump on the Represent bandwagon here. We just launched with Represent ourselves. We don't have any numbers specifically that we can share. We just launched with them. But the way that they built out their program, I think, is this like perfect example of like the combination of loyalty, sustainability, and resale, right? So ultimately, the way they've built out, Represent's built out their program is that customer earn prestige point via LoyaltyLion to shop pre-loved items and resell their own. So Represent is actually rewarding their community for reselling product. And I think this is kind of the next iteration of how people will utilize branded resale. And so really they're kind of like representing the future of community-driven commerce and how I think that resale plays into that. If we want to jump to the next slide here. And then another brand that's really crushing it from a branded resale perspective is Ministry of Supply. So what we're seeing with Ministry of Supply is that 25% of their resale customers are repeat customers. To my point about overspend on credit, we're seeing 4.7x increase over their credit spend, meaning, again, using the $100 example, their credit's $100, they're coming back and spending $470. And then this is the number that really excites me. I understand 5% may not seem like a lot, but 5% of their total revenue is coming from branded resale. So in this case, that represents millions of dollars coming from branded resale. And I think that really is just demonstrative of how branded resale can really be a revenue driver for your brand. And the way that they've built it out is they've kind of like created this accessible entry point, right? We talked about price sensitive customers, and that's one of the things that's really made their program so successful and driving repeat purchases. They're really leaning into their brand alignment. So their infinity, they call it the infinity resale market. It really it reinforces one of their core values behind sustainability and creating, and it turns it into a unified brand experience across both their resale and their primary store. And then finally, they're really leading, pushing this idea of customer-led sustainability. So they are kind of emphasizing to their customers that they are participating in the sustainability initiatives and how it extends the lifestyle cycle and reduces waste to reinforce their brand values. So how can you kind of get started? I think if we go to the net, I think the reality is, I think resale is table stakes, and I think you need to get started today. And where we kind of can help you on that side is we launch stores, branded resale stores, in weeks, not months. We have built out, and this is kind of our secret sauce, our automated retention engine and marketing engine. And so this is a system that we've built out. You can see a little diagram on the side there of how it works. To really drive customer engagement, re-engagement, and loyalty through your resale program. And ultimately, we're driving 30% of your resale site sales. And then we have a seamless brand integration. So all of our sites, they're not a Treat branded site. They are branded for your brand. And like I said, we've worked with over 200 brands, and on average, we're seeing a 7% increase in incremental revenue. So there's a lot of opportunity, and there's a lot of ways that you can get started. I think you need to get started in branded resale in some capacity. These sales are occurring. The resale market exists outside of your brand, and so it's great to expand that market and own a portion of it. And if you want to go to the last slide. We do have a little bit of an offer for you guys. So for qualifying brands, if you sign up to get a demo to check out what we're doing, you will get, well, it was supposed to be a $100 gift card, but I guess everybody's getting a little bit of a $5 bonus due to a typo. But you'll get a $105 gift card if you sign up for a demo. So I think together we can really make the world a better place and more sustainable place, but ultimately drive revenue and dodge landfills. So if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in chat, and as well as email me or connect with me directly.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Chris. I have to say, I am loving watching more brands going into resale. As somebody who shops a lot on Vinted, I always feel like I'm doing the dirty on the brands. So it's really great to see that resale starting to come directly. Okay, thank you, everybody. That is all of our trends. Please join me in saying a huge thank you to Liam, Krista, Max, and Chris. Lots of exciting things to look forward to in 2025, and lots of things that you can test and try. Really exciting. We have a couple of minutes for questions. We'll handle all the questions and run over a little bit. If you have to drop off, don't worry. We'll be sending you the recording straight after this, so your question will be answered on there. But we'll get stuck in. Liam, first question for you. How do you solve the spam issue in Attentive? Sorry, not the spam issue in Attentive. How do you solve spam issues in Attentive?
Yeah, no problem at all. So I guess quite a vague question overall. I think this probably relates to sort of the SMS side at the moment, and some of you may see on your phones if a message comes in and you haven't received a message from that person before, they'll often at the bottom say, "Is this spam?" at this point. And so that's something that all brands will sort of deal with on an SMS perspective. But one of the key things that we have is our two-tap system, which is our patented system itself, which means that when you opt in, you're opting in and you have a double confirmation that you want to receive these messages. Now, that has a couple of positive results. That means that not only has your consumer actually made a really important decision that they want to receive messages from you, but it also means as well that they're not falling at risk there of falling into any spam sort of filter there itself. We also do a huge array of stuff as well, from looking at deliverability, engagement levels themselves, and then making sure that when we're sending the messages, they are the right messages at the right time and they're relevant to our consumer base, so that you don't get that position where you are just sending messages for message's sake. It's less about more and more about better at this stage.
Fantastic, thank you. Chris, a question for you. What about the other 60% which are not new to the brand and buy resale products? Do you see any cannibalization there?
That is a great question. I think that obviously cannibalization is kind of the number one concern that I think people have. It's the number one, question that we get. So I think there's two ways that I think about this is that 60% of customers that aren't net new, it includes a mix of, existing customers kind of engaging with your brand in a different way. So what we see is that it increases retention, so that obviously limits your risk of cannibalization. But what we see more often in the 60% is that they're making supplementary purchases or they're diversifying a portion of their spending, right? So supplementary purchases, we have this feature through our through Treat Site, which is basically like trying to track down a product. And so what we see is the 60% that's coming through is buying a product that's no longer available through your brand. So this would be kind of like in the case of Represent, like their archive inventory. So it's not cannibalization because that product no longer exists. It's actually opening an opportunity for them. And yeah, there is a portion that's diversified spending, meaning they're shifting some of that spending to resale, but it ultimately extends their engagement and increases lifetime value over their lifetime with you. So I think, maybe you see these micro points of cannibalization, but nothing that's like, you're not going to see, we launched a resale brand and now 80% of our sales, 90% of our sales are going to resale. You're going to actually see your revenue go up.
That is super interesting, actually. And if I think about my own buying behaviors, the main time that I go towards resale is when I can't get hold of the thing I really, really wanted, and I'm looking for other avenues to get hold of it. That's
exactly.
Really fantastic. Krista, coming to you. Does ShipBob offer services for branded boxes or have vendors that create the branded boxes? Do you manage repackaging and the inserts?
Yes, so a little bit of both, depending on exactly what you're trying to do with branded packaging. If you're looking for, I think you saw the example with Bloom Nutrition on our page where they have, specific boxes for each product that we have vendors we can help set you up with to do. And then we can store and package in the outer mailer branded packaging with tissue paper, inserts, gift notes, all of that fun stuff as well.
Amazing. Lots of options. I love unboxing.
Yeah, it's the fun part.
Yeah. Chris, coming back to you, how do you handle take-back transactions when a brand doesn't have a gift card provider? Do you have any alternative ways to issue credit?
So I actually am going to be very honest. I don't have a good answer to that question right now, but Octavio, if you want to drop your email in the chat or send me a message personally, I'll get an answer for you and I'll reach out. I know we have a solution. I just don't have it off the top of my head.
Fair enough. Honesty is always the best policy. Max, question for Venapps. Do you have any other, so obviously you showed Represent, are there any other mobile apps with a loyalty program that we can take a look at? Any other examples you can point people towards?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a number of clients that are successfully using loyalty within their apps. If I was off the top of my head, I think Able might be one. I know we have additionally Cole Buxton, and another way we use and leverage loyalty is actually we can build our own sort of in-house app-based solution. So a really cool example of that is Totem. So they go beyond a sort of tier-based loyalty where we can house content, or we can house specific rewards or services, as they call it, for their most valuable customers, basically. So if you have a look on our LinkedIn, you might be able to see a little bit more about that and how Totem have basically built out a whole services page within their app, which is really cool. And those services, access to those services is segmented out by loyalty tier, and that's kind of done using Shopify tags. So we can basically tag different users for Totem, and they can have access to particular services, like, for example, the ability to book in-store appointments, or the ability to get a direct line to a stylist, let's say at Totem, where they can receive style advice or sizing information or tips. Basically a more personalized and bespoke experience for Totem's best customers. And that's something we've built natively within their app. So that's a really cool use case.
I might have to arrange a time to talk to you about that one. That is a really cool use case. I like that a lot. The other one I had in mind was Pulse Boutique. Actually, they have a lovely loyalty program within the app as well.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's fine.
Okay, fantastic. And then I think we have time for one last question, which is for LoyaltyLion. Let's see if I can answer it. Does LoyaltyLion have direct-to-consumer outreach capabilities, plugins such as SMS, email, etc.? So we do have email within the platform, but the most effective way to use loyalty data within email, SMS is, to be honest, through our wonderful integration partners, some of who are on this call. So yeah, through our integrations, we make sure that all of your loyalty segments, all of your loyalty data can be passed really neatly into the tools that you're using for all of your comms. So you don't have to run things in two separate systems. You can just make the one system as powerful as possible. All right, that is everything that we have time for. Thank you so much to our speakers. Really appreciate you taking the time to join us. Before we go, one last thing from us, we want to make our webinars as useful as possible. So please do take 2 minutes just to give us your feedback via the QR code that you can see here. As a thank you for your time, we'll enter you into a prize draw to win a $50 voucher that you can spend at a LoyaltyLion client of your choice. So let us know what you like, let us know what you think we could do better, and all of your feedback is gratefully received. Again, a huge thank you to all of our speakers. Really great to have you here on our first webinar of the year. Hopefully we'll be hearing from you throughout 2025. I wish everybody lots of good luck tackling these trends, and we'll see you online again for our next webinar really soon. Thanks and good night, everyone.